All right, so first off, I want to say all praise to Yahweh. In the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, but also known as Prophets of Doom. These are where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also, I want to say shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I am of that number. Okay, so we did a couple of readings of Second Esdras chapter 7. We did a reading in the King James, and we did a reading in the Good News translation. This video is going to be speaking about Second Esdras, 7th chapter, and we're going to read what what I asked Google, which is what is GMS's take on Second Esdras chapter 7, 1 through 25. All right. So let's go ahead and open up this book and get to it. All right. So Second Esdras. Oh, and then at the end of this, I'm going to read something else too. All right, Lord willing. All right. So Second Esdras chapter 7. We're all going to open this up. As a matter of fact, uh, give me a quick second here. All right. Quick second. Let's see. Okay. All right. In this 1611 King James, they give summaries of the chapters. So what I want to do is go here and get the summary of Second Esdras chapter 7. All right, so Second Esdras chapter 7. Um, it gives summaries verse by verse. All right, so all I'm gonna do is read uh, these first two summaries from verse 4 through verse 28, because we are only speaking about verses 1 through 25. All right, so chapter 7 of Second Esdras, the summary is the way is narrow, and when it was made narrow. Okay, so again, what I asked was, what is GMS take on Second Esdras chapter 7 verses 1 through 25? It reads, Great Millstone, or GMS, a Hebrew Israelite group, which is, I was pleasantly surprised when I read that, because it didn't put that black in front of it. The world has a problem and calls us black, even though we tell them we're not black. They still, all right, categorize us as black, but this didn't. Okay, so Great Millstone, GMS, a Hebrew Israelite group, uses Second Esdras 7, 1 through 25 primarily to teach the doctrine of the narrow path and the necessity of suffering for the elect of Israel before they can inherit the kingdom of heaven. We've talked about the Lord could have just gave us the kingdom. He could have just set us in the kingdom and then just had everything perfect. All right, the Lord can do anything, but this is the way that He chose for us to receive this inheritance. All right, we had to walk. Our walk is parallel to His Son's walk, meaning that. Well, and I'm not saying that we are equal to Him. All right, what I'm saying is that He had to suffer. All right, so do we. He had to learn the obedience. So do we. All right, and we're not better than Yahweh Shai. So why would our walk be any different? All right, or be easier, or not. I'm not going to say easier. Be without trials, tribulations, okay? So again, GMS uses this chapter, right, primarily to teach the doctrine of the narrow path and the necessity of suffering for the elect of Israel before they can inherit the kingdom of heaven. It says their interpretation of these specific verses generally centers on several core themes. Okay, one being the narrow path, verses 3 through 11. All right, so let me see. Should I read the explanation first, or should I read those verses first? Let me go ahead and read this first, and then we'll read. No, we'll do it this way. We'll read it first, and then we'll go read what it says here on the screen. All right, so Second Esdras chapter 7, verses 1 through I'll read through 11. All right. It reads, and when I had made an end of speaking these words, there was sent unto me the angel which had been sent unto me the nights afore. And he said unto me, Up, Esdras, and hear the words that I am come to tell thee. And I said, Speak on, my power. Then said he unto me, The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow, and like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it, and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded, and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. All right, so narrow path, verse 3 through 11 says GMS teachers often use the analogy of the city with a narrow entrance, fire on the one side, deep water on the other, to represent the straight gate. They argue that the fire and water symbolize the trials, tribulations, and persecutions that the 144,000 and the 1/3 of Israel must endure in this world. All right. So don't get it confused. Okay. There are 144,000. These are all men. This is the government or the tabernacle of David. Okay. And then the 1/3 are still an elect. All right. But there's an elect of an elect. All right. So if you have all of the Israelites that are going to receive salvation on this side, okay, they are the remnant. But then, and they are elect, right? But there is an elect within that elect that are the 144,000, all men. Okay. The rest of the elect are men, women, and children that truly have faith in this, okay, and are doing the best that they can here on this earth, okay. So these are trials and tribulations that we have to endure in this world. Again, this is the way that the Lord wanted to for us to inherit this kingdom. Okay, uh, to know righteousness, we have to know what a world is like that is ran by wickedness. All right, and this world is about done, man. Okay, so 2, it says the inheritance of Israel, which is verse 11. It says they emphasize that the world was created for the sake of Israel, specifically the elect. However, because of the fall and the narrow entrance, Israel must pass through appointed danger to receive their inheritance. We always talk about, even though Esau is our direct you can say arch nemesis, okay, he has to receive his promises, all right, his blessing before we can receive ours, all right? Things have to be in order, okay? So we know that we have to go through the straight gate, all right? And that word straight, all right, goes back to, oh man, I'm gonna have to find it now. Hold on. Perils or something along those lines. So let me find this really quick. All right, let me see something really quick here. All right, that's not it. So hold on a quick second. Okay, this is Matthew. Matthew 7. Man, I'm going to read all these. Matthew 7 and 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. All right. Luke 13 and 24. Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. All right, Matthew 7 and 14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. All right, this is exactly what we're speaking about here in this second Esdras chapter 7. I do want to get the definition and the word for straight. All right, here it is.
Strong's G 4728, stenos. Stenos.
All right, narrow, straight. Strong's definition, it says narrow, from obstacles standing close about. All right, let's see if there is a root word. Okay, let me see.
Strong's G 2476, histemi. Histemi.
All right, outline of biblical usage. It says, let me see. It says, hold on. It says to cause or make to stand. It says to place, put, or set. To bid, to stand by. Let's see. To make firm. To cause a person or a thing to keep his or its place. To stand, be kept intact. Of family. Of a kingdom. All right. To escape in safety. To uphold or sustain the authority or force of anything. to set or place in a balance. It says of quality, one who does not hesitate or does not waver, to be of a steadfast mind, to stand ready or prepared. All right, let me see what this is. Okay. All right. So let me get back here to the. All right. Let's see. Now let's go down here. There's only a little bit more left here. All right. The condition of the battle. All right, which is a verse that we read in here. Let me just read this. All right. It says the condition of the battle. It says GMS frequently references this chapter to explain that life is a condition of battle. All right. We just talked about the straight gate. All right. All these trials and tribulations. This is the condition of the battle. All right. This is the battle that we're in. All right. They teach that the current world is a prison house or a place of punishment for the Israelites, and that, well, I'll just say this, or a place, teach that this current world or this current age, all right, being that this is the age of Esau, this is Esau Edom's time to rule, all right, this is why this is a prison house. Pretty soon, all right, this thing is going to be flipped to right side up. All right, so they teach that the current world is a prison house or a place of punishment for the Israelites, and that the only way to the broad part, the kingdom, okay, is through the narrow part of current suffering. Okay, and speaking of this current suffering, let's get Romans 8 and 18. All right, because this is something else that we know. All right, we understand this right here. Romans 8 and 18 reads, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." All right, the Lord has the best things that we can't even imagine, all right, ready for us after this age is over. All right, nothing that we're going through now is worth turning back to the world. I'll put it that way, because we all came out of it. All right, nothing in this world is worth that, man. Okay, nothing. And this is the mindset of the elect, the remnant and the elect. All right, while the rest of the Israelites that are in the world, okay, they don't want to put away this world. They want it to keep going. All right, because of whatever. All right, whatever they deem their riches to be, whatever they deem their wife to be, all right, whatever keeps them in this world comfortably, they want to hold on to that. They don't want to risk giving up the things that they have earned in this life, but they don't understand. All right, they do not consider the things to come. Okay, so let me see. All right, so emptiness for the empty, verse 25. I didn't even get there. Let's read that. It says, "And therefore Esdras," let me start up. All right, verse 21, I'll start here. It says, "For Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai hath given straight commandment to such as came what they should do, to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him and imagined vain things. Now, those two verses and the next one, well, from 21 on down to 25, is why I'm going to read what I'm going to read after we read this second Esdras 7 take on from GMS. All right, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verses. All right, 21 through 25 of second Esdras chapter 7. All right, it made me think of again. All right, our responsibility as Israelites, as Israelite men, as hopeful remnant and elect. Okay, and okay, it has to do with. I mean, what I want to read has to do with our. What do you call that? I can never think of this word right away. Give me a second here. Our responsibility, okay, as the remnant and the elect, okay. And what we're going to read is the mind state that we were in before we came to this, or before the truth came to us, which is the mindset that the rest of the Israelites are still going to be stuck in on the Lord's day. But we'll get there in a second, all right? So let me read verses 21 through 25. For Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai hath given straight commandment to such as came, what they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient unto him, but spake against him, and imagined vain things, and deceived themselves by their wicked deeds, and said of the Most High that he is not, and knew not his ways, but his law have they despised, and denied his covenants, and his statutes have they not been faithful, and have not performed his works. This is why we say these words, all right, this is all about getting to know our power, all right? Verse 25, it says, and therefore Esdras, the empty are, for the empty are empty things, and for the fool are the fool things. So back here, emptiness for the empty, verse 25, it says they, meaning GMS, interpret the phrase emptiness for the empty and fullness for the fool as a karmic or divine justice principle. Those who are spiritually empty, which are the wicked and the 2/3 of rebellious Israelites, will receive destruction, while those full of the spirit and knowledge will receive the fullness of the kingdom. Okay? It says the role of the Apocrypha. GMS is known for its heavy reliance on the Apocrypha, which they view as essential scripture that was removed from the standard Protestant Bible to hide the true heritage of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as the real biblical Israelites. All right, and that is true. All right, this is why these things were taken out. But let's go back up here to remind ourselves of Israelites. All Israelites at one point were in the mind state of staying in the world. All right, not seeking out the Lord and his son for guidance, but going to the world for guidance, being led by this world. All right, this is not the way we're supposed to be. And I always feel a pull to read about this, all right, to read these on the videos about our responsibility to let you know that we are called to be holy. All right, the Lord told us to be holy, which means separate from this place. All right, so when things come upon you, sufferings, trials, tribulations, for those who understand, or for those getting to know their power and understand why these things happen, all right, we understand. But for those people that are without, all right, they're always going to be stuck. And these are the ways that they just don't want to hear. They don't want to follow these ways. They don't want to get in line, get in order. Okay, they want to stick with the world, but then at the same time, okay, they want to tell you that they believe in the Lord. Right? They don't understand that there's a separation. There's a clear-cut separation between this world, the way that it's ran now, and the truth, man. Okay? So what I wanted to do here is go to Psalm 81. And I'm not even going to read all of this either. I'm just going to read a few. Okay? So I want to start at verse 8. And again, I'm reading this in the NLT. All right? So Psalm 81 and 8. Listen to me, O my people, while I give you stern warnings. O Israel, if you would only listen to me. You must never have a foreign god. You must not bow down before a false god. For it was I, Yahweh, your power, who rescued you from the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it with good things. But no, my people wouldn't listen. Israel did not want me around, so I let them follow their own stubborn desires, living according to their own ideas. Most of our ideas are worldly, all right? And you're not going to come out of that, especially if you are not even seeking the Lord, man. Well, I'll put it this way. If the Lord doesn't want you to, you won't come out of that, all right? Okay? As long as you seek to hold on to this world and do these worldly things, all right, you're going to receive what this world is going to receive at the end of it all, okay? So again, Psalm 81 and 12, so I let them follow their own stubborn desires, living according to their own ideas. Oh, that my people would listen to me. Oh, that Israel would follow me, walking in my paths. All right, as you can see, it's still talking about Israel, man. No other nation is going to be a part of what we are a part of. All right. Psalm 81 and 14. How quickly I would then subdue their enemies. How soon my hands would be upon their foes. Those who hate Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahushai, would cringe before him. They would be doomed forever. But I would feed you with the finest wheat. I would satisfy you with wild honey from the rock. Okay? Same old story even today with Israel, man. Being disobedient, following after the world instead of after the ways of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. So the water, Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai for at least up to this point, all right, giving me this truth, all right, blessing me with the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and the men, the true men of the Lord, being in front of me, okay, and allowing me to listen, man, allowing me to have enough power to listen and not to be scoffing or backbiting, okay, allowing me to go and search these things out and prove all things every day that I have here, all right, Lord willing, I will be on this mission, all right, growing in the knowledge. But I just wanted to speak on that. All right, we did a couple of readings, and this is GMS's take on 2nd Esdras chapter 7. All right, so 1 through 25. All right, so I hope this came through as sincere and edifying, and we almost out of here. All right, we almost out of here. Just keep enduring, keep the faith. All right, stay in the love, okay, of Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai. All right, so again, I hope this came through as sincere and edifying. And with that, I want to say all praise to Yahweh in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. All right. Double honors to my elders, apostles, and the bishops, Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS for short, but also known as the Prophets of Doom. These are where I have learned this truth and where I am still learning this truth. And also I want to say shalom to the remnant and the elect of Israel. Lord willing, I'm of that number, and Lord willing, we'll see you in the next video. Shalom.